This episode was amazing! It was so awesome, I can't even believe it. It was even directed by Carl Weathers. It's the best episode of Star Wars I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. I can't believe how much backstory we got. We get to see how the Mandalorians work. We got to see some of Grogu's escape. We haven't seen all of that story yet, but it's incredible. G'day guys and welcome to Raging Rhino. It's time for episode 4 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now after last week's episode, honestly, I really don't care anymore. After a 59-minute episode, going into another 33-minute episode, it's just going to be more Disney Star Wars garbage. Let's just get through this episode and see what we can pick apart from this and absolutely destroy out of this show, because that's all it really is now. It's a gimmick for Grogu. Just buy the merch. And that's pretty much it. So let's get straight into this episode. If you're new here, you get to see my reactions as we watch the episode. And then at the very end, you get to hear my review and my thoughts. Let's get straight into this.
Welcome, Bo-Katan.
Yay, let's celebrate. Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. Just throwing that in there as a little reminder.
Submission.
Submission. Did they just flamethrower at each other? Eat them, Grogu. You know you want to. Eat it.
If he is ever to rise from foundling to apprentice, he must learn.
Oh my god.
Judge.
Foundling to apprentice. Oh, you get attachments now for your toys.
Fine.
It's as big as his arm.
Begin.
Paintball!
One doesn't speak unless one knows.
Oh my god. Another crocodile. No, just another flying beast. Well, Bo-Katan will save the day. Oh, the foundling.
It would kill the child.
These are no higher.
If it hasn't already. Are we gonna see who saves Grogu? No.
They hit the engine. This is gonna get a little rough.
I love how every time somebody's flying with Grogu, they have to narrate what happened. You know, like when Din Djarin's flying with Grogu, he's got to basically, you know, say, oh, this is what's happening when they're entering the atmosphere of Mandalore and stuff like that, just to narrate it for the audience, you know? It's like the engines just got hit, and he's got to tell Grogu that the engines just got hit. Like, we didn't just see it, he didn't just see it or feel it. Like, you don't necessarily need to narrate every fucking thing that happens. It's so cartoony in that way. I thought your engines were hit. How are you still flying for so long when your engines were hit? Oh, look, it's the place from the last episode.
Don't worry. We're gonna meet up with some friends of mine. But hold on. It's gonna be a bumpy landing.
Tell us what's gonna happen. No problem. Thank you. Where's Grogu? Hang on a second. How did he get in the ship? How? Please answer me that. I'm sorry, I gotta go back. I got to go back. So he opens the pod, makes sure that Grogu's okay.
Keller and Deck? They're right behind me.
He then goes and talks to the soldiers.
What about the others?
It's so weird. The pod, the egg is still there, but Grogu's not in it. The egg is still there, but Grogu's not in it. Oh, there, okay. There, it goes in behind you. There it is there. It's weird though, because in that other shot, it was open and Grogu wasn't in it. Gee, be getting pretty damn heavy by now. Oh, wow.
Kill the foundling if attacked. It has happened before when it has taken others.
Our best bet is stealth.
If it hasn't killed him already, like, why would this animal creature thing keep a kid like that? Isn't it supposed to be its food? Isn't that why it took it? Wouldn't it want to eat it, like, straight away? I don't know. Notice how it's not showing you the top of the peak to see what these cables are actually hooking onto. Where are all these cables that are supposed to be hanging down? Dinosaurs! Oh my god. Are the jetpacks going to run out of fuel again? How many cables do these guys have? Why? And a big crocodile's going to come up and eat him. Watch. Oh, Jurassic Park! So predictable.
This is the way.
This is so gay.
Come, Grogu.
If you can walk with all that weight on you.
This is the way. This is the way.
Oh, shut
We have
up.
brought you 3.
Oh, they're gonna ride him. This is a Bog of Boba Fett all over again. They're just misunderstood little baby birds.
This is the way.
This is the way. Oh. This episode was amazing! It was so awesome, I can't even believe it. It was even directed by Carl Weathers. It's the best episode of Star Wars I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. I can't believe how much backstory we got. We get to see how the Mandalorians work. We got to see some of Grogu's escape. We haven't seen all of that story yet, but it's incredible. That was super fucking lame. So they're all fighting at the beginning here. Like training, practicing. There was a bit where they used flamethrowers against each other, and I thought like this bit right here. We're gonna go back and just check this out. So this isn't how fire works. Like if you're using a flamethrower and another person is using a flamethrower, the fire isn't gonna meet in the middle and just stop, right? But they like to think, they like to make shit up in this universe. Look, meets in the middle, and just like, that's not how it's going to work. It's literally going to go past each other and burn each other. Anyway, so they're practicing. Grogu does a little test. Is like, you know, it's time for you to start practicing with the other foundlings and stuff like this. They really try and make the dialogue so profound. One does not speak unless one knows. Like the way Din Djarin's talking here to this other foundling, you know, it's so funny to me. It's just completely like, doesn't fit. It really doesn't fit to me. And they're trying to make it so profound and all of this kind of thing. Now, they obviously choose to play darts, right? Now they get 3 darts each. They've got to clench their fist to fire the darts, and you know, you're thinking, when this is all happening, you're kind of thinking, you get, like, he says you may fire the darts in any order. That's what Din Djarin says to Grogu. Or the judge says, I can't remember exactly. So, it's just paintball darts, really. So, Grogu gets hit once with 1 dart, boof. So, you're kind of thinking like it's you know, in reality, it's like a wrestling competition where you pin the person down, you win a point. Or a bit like Cobra Kai, for example. When you make contact, you win a point. They start the round again. And that's what you're kind of thinking throughout all of this. He gets hit again. Boof! Right? And then Din Djarin's like, I've seen what you can do. It's okay. You can show them. You can do it. So he does this flip thing.
Begin.
Right? Flips over. And then flips back. And then... Doo-doo-doo! And he wins the 3 points. And that's it. Now, the thing that's stupid about this scene to me is why didn't this kid, this foundling, just fire his 3 darts? Why did he have to go boom and then the judge like, point, start again, ready, fight, or whatever, and then he goes boom, hits Grogu again with the second shot, point, and then he's like, oh, you can do this, and then it's like boof, boof, boof. Like, quick, let's get it over and done with. And then Vizsla says, one doesn't speak unless one knows.
Unless one knows.
Like, oh, so profound. So the losing foundling, which we find out is Vizsla's son later on in the episode, but the foundling, like, walks off to go and think about his loss, right? And this dragon fucking dinosaur thing comes in and pinches him away, steals him away, right?
No blasters, it'll kill the child.
So he's like, no, don't kill my son, basically. So they start to follow him, and all their jetpacks run out of fuel, and just as they all run out of fuel, Bo-Katan comes flying over in her ship and follows the dinosaur, to its lair, to its nest, right? Bo-Katan then comes back and says, I scouted the area and I figured out where it is. It's at the top of this peak over here. Like, I mapped the area, and that's where its nest is. We're going to go out, I'll do it, she says, and then Din Djarin says, I'll come, and then Vizsla says, I'll come, and the armorer says, yep, send a couple more people as well. Now, you're thinking, okay, this bird dinosaur thing has either eaten the kid, right, or fed it to its babies. You got to think that. So in the time that Bo-Katan has found where the nest is, so the dinosaur has flown to its nest, she has mapped the area, flown back to the Mandalorian's cave, basically said, this is where it is, this is where we need to go. And then we get this whole little bit in the middle where Grogu goes off with the armor, and we get his little flashback thing of him being on Coruscant and being saved, and, you know, the bullshit of all of that. And I do think the choreography was a little bit off. It wasn't too bad, I guess, but it was still off, I feel. And then this guy's flying away. As he's flying away, as I mentioned throughout my reactions, they get shot.
They hit the engine. This is gonna get a little rough.
They hit the engine. This is going to get a little rough. And it doesn't seem to get rough at all. The engine doesn't stall. They don't slow down. They're still going at full pace. There's no roughness at all. At all after they get hit. And again, like I said, it's like they've always got to narrate when Grogu's around. And I don't know why, because Grogu doesn't need to be told. I mean, Grogu knows what's going on. He felt the blaster hit the bike. So the only purpose of this dialogue is to tell the audience. But the audience saw it. So again, it's just to fill the dead air, essentially. He then continues flying on, and this is while the armorer is making a new chest plate thing that Grogu will grow into. We get to see the stone from the previous episode, the peak of Mount Everest, and he makes a landing. And then he checks that Grogu's okay. This is where I went back and we went through and had a look to see how he gets on the ship. And I do find it funny that the ship that they fly away in is a Nubian. You know, it's got to be that Nubian. It's got to be the seals clapping. Oh my God, that's the same ship that Padme Amidala owns. That's incredible. Oh, it must be the Nabooans, the people from Theed that are helping. Well, Padme's off fucking trying to save her husband during Order 66. Incredible. Incredible. And then it flashes back after he gets into hyperspace and, she's made this new plate thing for him. This thing that she puts on his chest. Like the armor, the chainmail, and now this, and he's got to walk around with this stuff on. I mean, you saw how heavy this stuff is. Based on the fact that Din Djarin sunk to the bottom of that the living waters while Bo-Katan was boosting all the way down. Like, this shit is heavy. And he's just got to be able to walk around and hobble around. So now we cut back to them landing, and they landed a little bit far away from the nest so that the big dinosaur bird thing couldn't hear them, and they walk there. And then they set up a damn camp, and they wait for overnight to happen. They get here, they set up a camp underneath these rocks, and then they start handing out food. And Bo-Katan's like, how do I eat if I can't remove my helmet? And Mando's like, once we get food, everybody goes off and finds their own little lonely spot so that they can remove their helmet and they can eat their dinner. Mind you, the dinosaur thing took Vizsla's son earlier that morning. So, either the kid's got to be dead. He's got to be eaten by now. Whether it be by the big dinosaur or by its little babies. This is the way. We get to hear that so many times. So profound. So amazing. So we're there the next morning. And they decide to start scaling up the wall. Now, I did mention this throughout the reviews or throughout the reactions, right? I do find it really funny that they're climbing the wall here. No ropes, no cables hanging down. And they keep shooting these cables to the top of the mountain. The thing is you don't ever see the top of the mountain. So what are they hooking onto? Like, here's a cable here. that goes all the way down to another Mandalorian that's climbing up underneath Bo-Katan there. You know, Mando's got this cable or this line going here, but you don't even ever see where it goes. When they finally actually look at the peak, which there's a shot in here somewhere, I'll find it. There. Where are those cables? Where are they? And then all of a sudden they're gone from that shot too. This is Disney Star Wars continuity at its finest. They finally get to the top and Bo-Katan and Din Djarin and Vizsla, where are the other Mandalorians? They're still scaling the wall, okay? And Mando switches his helmet to the heat signature and he goes, there's a heat signature over there. And Vizsla's like, I'm going. And Bo-Katan's like, no, because we need to scout the area, make sure it's okay. And Vizsla goes over and of course you get all the little baby dinosaurs. Which then, obviously, the big mother arrives. And I want to show you what he does here. He regurgitates the kid. So for a whole day and a morning, this dinosaur thing hasn't fed his little baby dinosaur things just in time enough for the Mandalorians to camp overnight, all of that, you know, scout the area, scan the area, make a plan, get there, camp overnight, and scale the wall in the time that this thing's just had this kid in his stomach for.
That makes no fucking sense!
So Vizsla, because it's his son, he goes in and tries to save him. It drops the kid out of its mouth, but picks it up with its talons and puts Vizsla in his mouth, and then decides to fly away. And this is where we get essentially the second action scene, or you could say the third action scene. The first one is them doing the training, and obviously this dinosaur thing first flying away with the kid. Then the second action scene is the flashback scene, and this is the third action scene. And again, like, they don't run out. In this chase, not one of the Mandalorians runs out of fuel. Not one. They ran out of fuel earlier, but not this time, right? And again, all they're trying to do, like, they don't even have their blasters out shooting at this thing. And it's like, oh, but you might hit the kid, you might hit Vizsla in his mouth. It's a big fucking target, right? And in all honesty, it's probably just going to hit their armor anyway and bounce off, just like it does with every Mandalorian. But what they decide to do is try and grapple this thing with their grappling hooks, their lines. Like, didn't they learn their lesson from the beast, the crocodile thing in episode 1? When they're trying to do that and they just got swung around because the fucking thing is 20 billion times their size? No. Look, let's just hook up with the cables and it does absolutely nothing. Oh no, that one did something. It clipped its wing, right? Clipped its wing, dropped the kid. And then this is where, like I said, it was so predictable. It hits the water and a big dinosaur crocodile thing comes up and eats it. You get the Jurassic Park moment. Oh, visually stunning. It looks incredible. Oh my God, another crocodile. That means there's... Why did the Mandalorians even decide to come to this planet? It just seems to be fucking Jurassic Park. I mean, what, was the doctor from Jurassic Park on this island or on this planet and decided to, you know, make all these dinosaurs out of nowhere, these hybrids? He gets his kid back. This is the way. He comes back. They're, you know, congratulating them because they don't clap like this. They don't clap like seals. They clap like retards with their armor, you know. And then Bo-Katan's like, oh, she's like, oh, because Bo-Katan had her shoulder plate, you know, taken off. We can't have, you know, any part of the body showing. We better make sure that there's enough armor there, even though it's fucking only covering 30% of their body. And she's like, oh, we've got 3 new foundlings for us to train. And it's the 3 little baby fucking dinosaur things. The 3 baby dinosaurs come out of the ship. Like, there's not even enough room in that ship. And the baby dinosaur things would probably eat them all. Honestly, think about, okay, think about that. There's 3 of these dinosaurs, right, that come out of her ship. Let's just go back to here for a second. That's the inside of her ship. It's pretty narrow. And all of those Mandalorians, there was like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there was 8 Mandalorians. So 8 Mandalorians in this ship with 3 of those baby bird things that are 5 times their size. Maybe even more. Where did they fit them all?
That makes no fucking sense.
Again, I just don't understand that. I just don't get it. Anyway, the armorer says to Bo-Katan, we need to get you some repairs. Bo-Katan says, you know, can I have the night owl on one side and the mythosaur on the other side? The armorer says the mythosaur belongs to all of Mandalore, so of course you can. And then Bo-Katan's like, what if I told you I saw the mythosaur, an actual living mythosaur under the waters? And the armorer's like, oh, that's a neat vision to have. And she's like, no, it was real. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Oh my god, it was incredible, it was amazing, it was so good. We got to see Mandalorian culture, which makes no sense. We get to see them be so profound in their dialogue and I'm his ward. I accept the challenge, or I permit the challenge. Oh my god. One does not speak unless one knows. This is the way. Oh. Disney Star Wars is so fucking lame. It's so fucking lame. It's not based on Star Wars by George Lucas, that's for sure. This is far from it. Far fucking from it. This shit is just absolute crap, garbage, rubbish. Let's see how many people give it a 7 or above. 7 out of 10. Now, being that I'm doing these ratings, which honestly mean nothing because it's my opinion of it, episode 1 was a 3, episode 2 was a 4, episode 3 was a 2. No, episode 3 was, well, yeah, it was actually a 2. I did give it a 3 originally, but it's kind of dropped to a 2 for me. This episode... It might be a 4 again, maybe a 3.5. I mean, this is just garbage storytelling. And I know people are going to be like, oh, it's so amazing. We get to see the Mandalorians and see some of their culture, see some of this cult culture. And we got to see some of Grogu, get to, you know, who saved him. And that was incredible. Whatever. This is dinosaurs in space with it's actually babysitters in space with a splash of dinosaurs and a bunch of filler. And a bunch of non-Star Wars gobbledygook. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week for, what are we on? Episode 5? Yeah, episode 5. Later, guys.